leader. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian. I'm sitting here with Miss Ava Gore, who is joining us on this Wednesday. Was not able to make it on Monday, but I hope everything worked out for you on Monday. Did it?
Kind of. I'm still in the process.
Okay. And then Tiffany Frybarger with Attic Echo. Hey, Tiffany.
Hello.
And you are no stranger to the show either. I think you've been on quite a few times. Normally when Sam's on, this is the first time Ava and Tiffany have been on together. Lots of estrogen. I can kind of feel it.
Okay.
Unnecessary.
I'm always a little unnecessary.
That's true.
That's right. Should be no news for people who watch the show. So Tiffany, Attic Echo, let us know a little bit about what your company does.
Okay, so at Attic Echo, my main focus is writing and distributing press releases and just kind of getting any band that I work with out into the media as far and wide as possible, getting them heard by as many ears and getting them seen by as many eyes as I can.
Okay, and when did you start Attic Echo?
I started in September of last year, so I've not even been doing this a year yet.
Oh, wow. What made you decide to jump into starting a PR company?
So I worked with Frame the Stage. I did music press, which is kind of a shoot off, kind of the other side of what I do. And I really just kind of wanted to help out the bands because I seen them not really getting as much press as I'd like them to, and not getting them heard as much as I think they should be. And also just to kind of offer an affordable PR company because some of the ones are a little bit more expensive and may not work with some of the smaller guys, and I just kind of wanted to help them out.
How does one start a company like this?
Really kind of knowing a few people. I think that's about the best idea of it. As soon as you know a band that wants to work with you and wants to give you a shot, then you kind of just go from there and you kind of build a list of contacts and start sending it out to people that you know, people that you've kind of built that relationship with, and just go from there.
Who was the first band that you decided they want to work with you? Was it like a mutual thing? Did you reach out, or was it kind of like a friend that you decided, let me see if I could kind of get my feet wet in this and see what happens?
So the first band I worked with was Then Falls the Sky. I'm willing to bet nobody's really heard of them, but they're a local
maybe.
They might be watching now. I don't know. But they're a local band out of Columbus, and I had known them for maybe a year or two and done some press with them with Frame the Stage. And they had reached out to me and wanted to know a little bit more about how they could get out there, you know, to other press outlets, and that's just kind of what fired it all off.
Okay, and now we don't want to give away any industry secrets. We don't want people to be like, oh, I can do this also. Let me get secrets from Tiffany. She just started. Let me be a competitor. But I do think bands that are maybe interested in wanting to use you as their PR may be interested in exactly how you get their band press. So do you reach out to blogs, different online forums? What is it exactly you do to get them heard that Attic Echo does to help them out?
So the first thing I do is obviously, you know, talk to the band, get an idea of what they're looking for. If they're looking to get more reviews, then I try to go that route. If they're looking for interviews, I try to go that. Most of the bands I work with are kind of just looking for all over the board and anything they can get. So I end up writing a press release, which just puts together everything about the band into this pretty little press release, and tie it up with a bow and send it out to these blogs and hope that it catches their attention. And I mean, I'm basically sending it out to blogs. I'm not doing anything that a band can't do, except for it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of emails.
How many connections would you say you have?
My full press list probably contains about 400 different blogs.
Oh, wow.
400 to 500, but probably closer to 400.
Nice.
So when you send them out to, let's say, these 400 blogs, do you blast all of them, or do you pick and choose which ones? And then do only some of them pick up what you wrote, and some of them say, not this time, try again with another band, or sometime later?
So most of them I never hear back from at all.
Well, they know, but you know what? You may not hear back from them now, but they know who you are, and the more you keep on emailing them, eventually they're gonna be like, let's just see what this chick's talking about. And then they're like, oh, this is awesome. Let's so you just never want to give up. So is there like your standard that come to you every time? Like, let's check it out. Let's do it.
Yeah, I definitely have some regular people that I work with, like Stay Noisy. I've built a little bit of a relationship with State at the Scene at this point. I've worked with Metal Injection and Not Fest.
Cool.
So, I mean, I definitely have some ones that I can reach out to that I'm a little bit more likely to hear back from because I've built a relationship with them. And that's the biggest thing that a lot of bands don't realize is it's a lot about the relationship that I'm building. They can cold email anybody they want to. They can find any email that they want to find. But I have that built-in relationship that I might get them heard a little bit easier.
Right.
Would you say that there are some bands that come out to you and they want you to do some press for them, and not to be negative, but do you kind of say, hey, not right now? Are you at that stage yet? I know you've only been doing it, a little bit, almost a year. Has that happened yet? And do you foresee that happening? What would you say if that hasn't happened?
So there have been bands that have reached out to me and wanted to work with me, and in some cases, it's just that I'm not into their music and I don't feel that I can be beneficial to them.
Mm-hmm.
And in other cases, I don't feel that their project is relatable to what I'm doing, and I don't have enough contacts that will help them. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean that that they're not good or they're not worthy of PR. It's just not for me. In some cases, I will refer them to other people that I know that do PR that might be a little bit more receptive to their music.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it's happened, but there's a chance that it might happen more. I don't know.
As you grow up, probably will. Dawn brings up an interesting point. She says that is the most important, having an understanding and having a relationship with the bands and a relationship with the different companies that you want to work with, but also having a relationship with the bands is important, because if you don't really feel their music or don't necessarily jive with them, I guess you're not going to push them as much as you would a band that you really enjoy. And when it comes down to, it's all about money, but if you're trying to grow your brand, the money will come later as long as you stick to what you think you believe is going to work best for you.
Yeah, I mean, my goal isn't I'm not making a ton. I'll put that straight out. I'm not making, millions of dollars a year doing this. I'm doing
Why not? Not yet.
Not yet. But I'm doing this because I love the bands that I work with and I love the music they're creating, and I want them to succeed. It's really about wanting to help them more than it is about the money.
Yeah.
Do you only work with metal bands?
No, I also work with Animal Sun and Cannibal Kids.
Yep.
Animal Sun is electro pop. Cannibal Kids is more indie pop, kind of what they like to call Japanese inspired pop, I guess. So yeah, I've branched into more of the pop scene as well.
Let's talk about your musical background. Because I know you're a huge fan. We've talked about this on the show before, and then before we talked, you're a huge fan of Hawthorne Heights. You followed their career for quite a while now. What is your musical background besides obviously doing this? What influenced you to do it? Was it just going to concerts? And I know you, and you're known to be like, you already asked that question. Why'd you ask that question again? You've said that to me so many times, but a different spin on it. Let's talk about your musical background and the concerts and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I grew up in a household where my dad was always playing music.
Can't relate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He listened to Black Sabbath. He listened to The Who, The Guess Who, a lot of those bands. My mom was more into like Journey and some of those. So I was kind of just destined to be involved in music in some degree. Plus, my uncle was also a kind of a radio DJ at a college, actually the college I went to for some time. So it's just always kind of been involved, but also leading into the concerts. I started going when I was a teenager and just kind of fell in love with the local scene and some of the people in it, and just kind of the camaraderie and everything that came along with it, and going out to shows and being accepted and just feeling part of the entire music scene.
Is Hawthorne Heights the first band you were like, these guys rock? Was like one of the.
I mean, it was probably the first band that I really started going to see a ton. That's why I've seen them.
They're from. Aren't they from your neck of the woods?
Yeah, they are. They're based in Dayton.
Okay, yeah.
About 45 minutes away from me. But actually, I'd say probably one of the first bands, or maybe a couple of the first bands that I really started getting into, were Simple Plan and Good Charlotte. That was like 10 or 11. So
Nice.
I started wearing eyeliner because of Good Charlotte. If I had hair, I still would. I just don't have hair anymore. It just doesn't look as good, you know. It just doesn't look as good. Sharon says, "Animal Son, break out the bottle."
Being on this show reminds me too often of my emo days, I think.
Oh, being on this show?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? I swear I would still wear eyeliner. It's just I just gotta wipe it off every morning if I go to work. And then like the baby oil gets in your eyes from wiping it off, and then you like see blurry. It's not. I get old and lazy, and I don't want to do it anymore. Now it's about comfort, not style.
I have to put on Raf's eyeliner whenever we play, so I don't think our guys are good at it.
You should have seen me in high school, just all black eyeliner all the time.
Yes.
Let's talk about price. So let's say bands are going to watch this, they're going to watch it on YouTube later, maybe someone watching now. Pricing wise, so first let's go through it. They send you maybe a demo song, right? Is that kind of typically how it works out?
Either one that they're looking to push, or something that they have recently done and they're kind of in the process of making new music.
Okay, so let's say this band's awesome. I like their style, I like their energy, I like their music, I like their look. Okay, so you like all those things about the band. Then they're going to ask you, what can you do for us? You're going to put them on the blogs, things like that. But do you have different pricing, and are they kind of standard, or does it change? Does it change? If you like the band more, do you charge them less? I'm just kidding. But is there a standard pricing that you go by, like a menu?
Yeah, there's definitely a standard pricing that I go by, and probably the bands I work with will be like, "What? You don't charge us that?" Because I've recently upped my prices. So any bands that I work with now, if they come in and they work with me on retainer, so I'm with them monthly. I'm charging them $100, which is not bad.
It's really not bad at all.
And if I'm working with them per release, then I'm charging them $300. So that's one that kind of comes in. I work with them for a couple months, and then they kind of disappear, go off until they want to work with me again for another release.
So is it contract? So do you have? So if someone's going to keep you on retainer, is it like a yearly contract that you do for them? Because you said if you do it just per release, you charge a little more. It's a one-time deal, right? It's just one release. So is it contract? Because what someone just says, yeah, we'll keep you on retainer, and then like a month later, like 2 months out, they see you.
I mean, I don't really work on contract. It's more of a handshake deal, but there's no handshake because we're not in person. So it's just kind of a verbal thing. They can walk it anytime they want to. If they're not happy with what I do, then they're more than happy to find somebody else. And there's no hard feelings.
Diego says, Tiffany does more for the scene than most. Badass chick pushing the music we all need to hear. That's a nice compliment. We just don't know it yet. So who is Diego?
He works at Asylum Radio Network.
Okay.
If you're familiar or not. But
I think I've heard of that.
He's kind of one that's been there since the beginning, that kind of helped me start pushing some bands to press, and just kind of doing a few reviews for me and sharing a lot of Attic Echo stuff and doing shout outs on their live shows and things like that. So I appreciate Diego.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know what? I don't understand it coming from a business mindset, right? Like I have the podcast, but in my non-musical world, I'm a business kind of person. Like I'm an entrepreneur. I don't understand it. And and Tiffany, you're obviously friends with Sam. You work with Sam a lot, Diamond Noise, who's the producer of the show, and manages a lot of bands that you do press kits for. I don't understand not having a contract. Because you can shake anyone's hand all day, but if you don't have the contract, they're just like, all right, we'll see you later. Don't you feel like you could, don't you feel like if you had that contract, it would solidify your monthly income?
The PR people we've worked with, we've never signed a contract.
Really?
No.
I would totally do contracts with them. So then you could just walk away also and not think anything of it.
Yeah, if I'm not happy with a band, if they're not following through with some things that they should be doing, if they're not giving me content on a regular basis and just communicating with me, because that's part of my thing is communication. I want to have regular communication with the band. If they're not being involved, then I can let them know, like, hey, this isn't working out. I appreciate what you're doing and I love your music, but I gotta let you go because it's just not working out, and you're just paying me $50 a month because that's my current retainer until I, work with a new band. Then I'm upping it.
Right.
My current bands pay $50, but my new prices are $100. But yeah, so if it's just not working out, then I let them know, and it's just the end of it there. I feel like a contract really just kind of is, for lack of a better word, a trap. They're kind of stuck, and it brings in a whole legality thing, and it brings in some hard feelings and some difficulty that I don't want the drama, and it's about helping them, not forcing them to stay with me.
Right, and I guess not having a contract, I guess, also works out for you. If they don't hold up their end of the bargain, you can just say, see you later. So I guess, Ava, do you have any input on that?
I mean, I really don't see why a contract should be necessary in this type of interaction. We've never done it, like I said, and I don't know. It's just
Ava's not under contract to be on the show. She just I'll be there when I can, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we just got a contract from a record label, and it's taking us, like a couple months or so to deal with it. So it's just
You're still working on that?
Yes. It's just too much. Too much.
It is a lot of legal stuff that can get in the way of just, like Tiffany, like you said, just helping out a band and being there for them. And it's kind of more of a friendly relationship at this point. I would assume as you grow, though, that might change if you wind up making a huge career out of it down the line. It could, maybe it won't. I don't know. But I guess when that point comes, I guess you'll find out. Do you work with a lot of, because I know you, like I said, I know you work with Sam and Diamond Noise. Do you work with other managers, band managers, touring, booking agents, besides just Sam? Like, do they reach out to you, and is that kind of like a network you want to get into?
So I've had a couple managers reach out to me and kind of pitch their band. But so far, none of them have really panned out. Like Starless is a band that I work with. They're currently not managed. They don't have a booking agent. So I'm kind of just helping them along without those things. And that's perfectly okay too. I'm perfectly okay stepping in with a band that really has no idea what they're doing. No offense, Starless. Don't know anything. But just somebody kind of in the local scene that really hasn't had their feet in the water to the industry, and just kind of helping them out, and just helping them along and figuring everything out too.
How many bands do you work with now?
Currently on my monthly roster, I have 7.
Okay. Do you think there's ever going to be a point where it's like too many bands to manage, or do you think that's just?
As far as like monthly, I'd say maybe about 10 would be my cap at this point. And that also depends on how demanding the bands are, like how much I have to do for them, how much content they're releasing. If I have 5 bands that are releasing content monthly, I don't know if 10 bands are going to work out. But if I have 10 bands that are releasing something every 2 months, that's a little bit more manageable.
Cool.
You brought up an interesting point earlier, and I would agree with you on when you have a band that doesn't really know so much, and that is no offense to Starless, you know what? Because what you want to do is you want to take them under your wing and do it your way and kind of show them how to do it. If you have a band that knows what they're doing or has done it for multiple times, everyone has their own way of doing. I'm sure you have your style of PR and the way you do it. You don't want someone else coming in saying you got to do this. You got to do this. I want you to do that. You do it the way you want to do it. And having other people that may have had certain experiences or whatever, they might interfere with your flow of how you like to work. Is that accurate to say?
I would say yeah, because I mean, some people in the industry aren't going to work well together. We all have different ways of doing things, and we all have different ideas. And if we can't coordinate and cooperate, then that's probably not going to work. Like with Sam, because I do have so many bands that are also on his roster, we work well together. We know how each other work, and it works out well for us to be working as a team. But bringing somebody else in, you never know. I'm typically pretty easy to work with, but I also still have my own way, like the communication factor. If I have a manager that's not really communicating with me, and just not really staying in contact, then we're probably not going to work well together.
That's exactly how we feel about adding another band member. Like, it's just, you're trying to get practices together and everyone has like their own things going on, and just 2 people, it's really easy.
Yeah, every time you add in another voice, you're adding in another potential headache. I mean,
yes.
You never know how somebody's going to work.
People can be super unreliable.
Or difficult, depending.
That's why even like Sam's on every now and again as a host. He's obviously busy right now touring with Transient and doing that. Ava's on 1 to 2 days a week. But if, like, let's say if Ava and Sam are not there, I can still do the show. Like, it's fine. I got this. It's my show. I can do whatever I want with it, But it is easier when, or I wouldn't say it's easier. It's more fun sometimes interacting, especially with people like Sam and I have great chemistry. Ava says some funny shit sometimes that like completely, like, you think I say some crazy things? I mean, I do, but sometimes Ava will be like, where'd that come from? Like, we both kind of have that.
That's what she does.
No, she does, because she does call me out. But I actually enjoy getting called out. I don't get all like, oh man, why'd you do that on my show? Why you gotta embarrass me like that?
Emasculate me.
Emasculate me.
I know you well enough that I'd call you out if I needed to.
Yeah, I know. I think you have I think you've actually messaged a comment while I'm talking to someone. I'm like, I know, I do that. I do that sometimes. That's okay though. That's okay. And Tiffany did put the loud spot on. It's like I guess I call it an article. Maybe that's not the right word to use. What would you call it, Tiffany?
I mean, a write-up, an article, a post,
a forum,
whatever you want to call it. I mean, it all says the same idea.
Yeah. So now Jack's Diaries, are they under your PR?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jack's Diaries we had a ghost stories thing, and we talked about it. And Tiffany actually wound up writing an article about it, and then was able to plug the loud spot in there. I thought that was super cool. Like, I was all excited. I must have texted like 20 people. Check this out. Tiffany, is there anything you want to say before we get off the show? And then we'll leave the floor to Ava to ask any final questions about Attic Echo at all that maybe we didn't cover?
I guess as far as anything goes, just keep watch on my socials. Check out my website, atticecho.com, and just make sure you're keeping up with the bands that I work with. And if there's any bands that are interested in working with me, you can always reach out. I'm approachable. I'm willing to talk. Let you know anything. If you have any questions, I'm willing to answer them. You don't have to know what PR is. I'll describe it. I'll let you know. We can start at scratch, and I'll let you know what I need and just go from there.
PR stands for Puerto Ricans. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I have to throw it out there. My bad. Hey, you got anything?
What would you say the most challenging part of PR is?
Not hearing back from people.
I bet.
When I'm trying to premiere something at Loudwire or Knotfest or Metal Injection or just anywhere and not hearing back from them, and then hearing back from them at the last minute, that's kind of a struggle. But I mean, I get it. I've worked on the press side. I understand that you can't always answer everything, and that's fine. But as far as anything else goes, I think just building the relationships, that's probably difficult, but it's the most worthy thing you can do.
Nice.
And your articles are very well written. I do have one final question for you. Have you ever written an article that somebody wanted you're working with somebody and they didn't respond? Like, even though it was great, it was well written, they just either got busy, didn't respond to it, and kind of left you like hanging?
From which side? From the press side, or
from the press side? Oh, and then I do want to talk about frame the stage, but let's talk about that real quick. Has anyone just kind of left you hanging after you wrote something about them and not replied to you?
I mean, are you meaning like a press release, or are you meaning like posting something up on, say, Frame the Stage and them not responding to it?
Okay, that. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll post something on Frame the Stage and it goes nowhere. It just happens. They either don't see it, or their PR person may not have told them that they were placed there.
Right.
It happens. It is what it is.
If anything gets written about you and Tiffany, please share it, because I was ecstatic about it. Like, I thought it was super cool, and bands should share it. I think they should. And you're such a fantastic writer, and what you put, and you really are positive when you're speaking about the bands, the articles that I've read that you have written anyways. And then I do want to talk about Frame the Stage, which you do work with Frame the Stage, right?
Yeah, I'm lead contributor, even though I've kind of slacked off a little bit lately. But I will get back to it, I swear. But yeah, I do work with them. Back before COVID, I covered Bunbury and Cincinnati for them. I'm not the owner, even though people tend to think that I am. I run most of Frame the Stage.
Well, cool. All right. If you are in a band and you are looking for somebody, some write-ups on you, do some PR, hit up Tiffany. And if it works out, then that's fantastic. Tiffany, thank you so much for being on the show, sharing what you do with the bands. I think you got some fans that were watching and think that it's cool that you do it for the music and not for the money. And hey, that's what Ava and we're doing it. Trust me, we don't make a penny off this.
Yeah.
Like maybe a penny. Maybe a penny. Well,
I don't make anything with Frame the Stage, so I get it.
Yeah. But we do it for the love of music, and I just like talking to people, and so Ava was talking shit. Yeah, I like talking shit. So yeah, go check out atticecho.com, right? And that's easy. I'm like surprised you got that. That is fantastic. Thank everyone for listening to The Loud Spot. We love it. And check out our, what do I have? I have a Facebook, I have a Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and subscribe to my YouTube. Like, don't just watch it, subscribe to it. We really appreciate the subscribes because, we don't have a lot. So we're looking for pity subscriptions here. All right. I guess that's it. Are we out?
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Stay right there, Tiffany.
Sure.
Don't go anywhere.
This is the Loud Spot outro by Nothing Short of Tragic. Is this all talk with no action? No. Is this my thoughts with distraction? No. Is this what I bought that's in fashion? Or is this the loud spot with Sebastian? Does nothing short of tragic have us back again? Does everything that's good really have to end? A pin post has a pin show, so to get more episodes, make an order, this is over.
Thanks for watching our video. Don't forget to click the like and share button.
Don't forget to go to our YouTube and subscribe.
If you want to listen to our audio and pick up some cool merch, go to www.theloudspot.net. Peace out, rock on.